Hi everyone, Day here bringing you another episode of The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Let's Play. I realize now that I didn't go back to the title screen, so we're just gonna roll with the punches from where we are. We're getting ready to see what our darling prima donna of the ballet has in store for us. We're getting some information from her. Hopefully we could shed some light on some things that we are kind of in the dark about. So we're going to see what she's actually truly about, hopefully, and gather more information. And that's pretty much all we can do. No, I am not Grimsby Roylott. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you're still aboard this vessel, which couldn't have been easy. The Buria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? That is indeed a point. But I don't know, because it seems like the crew thought she was Western or something. In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of the old gentleman, and you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Why didn't she just do that before it came to this point? She was getting ready to do it right when we were getting ready to walk into her room. High shenanigans there. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well enough alone. So if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? It had to be her. That veritable tinkling of a bell. Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disguise myself, so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man? I see. Questionable old man. I put on the fur hat and fake beard. Then just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened. I couldn't stop from screaming. She just read the newspaper. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. Okay. That's why she didn't do it immediately. So I decided to cut off all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand, and at that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Annoyingly unlocked. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You'd remember it. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Yes, alright, I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, wasn't it something, Mr. Shom's great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. You enjoyed every minute of it. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. And one more thing. Oh, yes? What? Observe your wrist. Oh, he put the doggone handcuffs back on. Your hands are cuffed again. No! What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. Dang nabbit, dudes! Grr, when and why? There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say. It can't be helped at the moment. Ha. Can't it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. Yeah, I'm curious too. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary really was. Do we talk to her? Do we examine the case? Let me see. Don't touch her! Huh? I will tell you what I know about last night, but please, you must not touch my things. How do you say, forbid it. Oh, sorry. As well as you should be, young man. What vulgar manners you have. Poking around in a young lady's private belongings? Neither shall I allow it. Grr, hypocrite. Yeah, he read someone's diary. Okay, let's just speak to her like normal people. Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh! That's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking? Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps the steam engine exploded. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened. Miss Pavlova, is there anything you could tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? No, Novovic Ballet? Why? Yes, I am traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life. You wish to forget? A challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder. But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I mean, she won it fair and square. They take back those kind of rewards? I never knew. I have no money of my own. The Novovic Ballet gives us only a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. Oh, that sucks! To be a woman back in the day. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself. Yes, and the crew of this ship, they have all been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they said I could hide in this cabin. They gave her an expensive cabin for her to hide in, because it doesn't seem like the captain knows. That is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova. It creates a most intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo? Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum, I'm not sure, but... Conundrum. As we always do, we go to friend first. So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed on board, according to the rules of passage. Oh, please, don't tell any of the crew. If they found my precious... precious... Then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. Ah! So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it? Me and Sasato are always on different pages here. Maybe an adorable little rabbit? You say rabbit before kitten, seriously, Renosuke. Ha! You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't they have small rabbits there then? You may well ask. I have no idea. Ha! He says that a lot around Sholmes. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't this obvious? It must be a chicken. Yours is more... Oh, yours is more perplexing, sir. Really? Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it can satisfy the needs of sustenance. Wow. So you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. She's kind of adorable. Well, it would appear that this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed. This guy is so ridiculously crazy. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her. I guess I was reading that right, but it sounds off, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. Okay. Go back to the conundrum for now. Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. Good point. However, the SS Bureau stopped by no port last night. Ah, that's it, of course. It didn't? I thought we stopped somewhere. So how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard? Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard. So they know more than they let on, too. That is not your business. Yes, you're right. He does seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what was that? It is how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens because I am an angel. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist a touch of the dramatic. Seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventure of Herlock Sholmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. Okay, that's all we are going to get. Can we present something? Let's try her page. Miss Pavlova, about this article. You look so beautiful, like a fairy. I'm scared. If my picture is in the newspapers, you poor girl. She's so young, just 15 years old. For her to have to run away all by herself, she must have felt very, very alone. I don't think she would know anything about this revolutionary. Can we mention the speckled band to her? This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Was it the tiara, possibly? Speckled? I don't know. I really don't know. Speckled band. I don't understand. It's strange. Oh, it's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh! Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? Anything at all. It would be helpful to us. No, I don't know anything. Oh? She's trying to protect herself. Whether or not she knows anything, though, it's hard to say. Uh-oh. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott. You put the costume back on super quickly. Yes, what? Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please. Alright, I will come now. Don't leave us in here by ourselves. You know we're gonna get up into some naughty mischief. You know we will. What? You must leave now. Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Don't mind us twiddling it away in your room, even though we already tried to break into your case with you being present in the room. No, of course not. We're no trouble to you. Yes, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Oriolas. Get out. The passenger said out, or you wanted me to throw you out. Ugh. Looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. She's no dunce, I'll say that much. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. Dearie, dearie, dear. To be continued. Yeah, there was no way I could make it to this part last episode. Maybe if I recorded a little bit more of the previous episode. But alas, we can't go back to that. Actually, I don't want to save. Because I never know about the sound quality. I have to always double check that sort of thing. 9th January, SS Bureau, first class cabin passageway. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh, yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrist. Darn him! Darn it all! Okay. Can't go in there. I guess we go back to Kazuma's cabin and speak with... Oh, he's gone. Never mind. Hosonaga. 9th January, SS Bureau, first class, cabin number 1. There's something else here for us, something. Looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely, you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Oh yeah, do you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. He's the only guy I was thinking about, but he's not in here. Yo, where did you go? Oh, sorry. I just went to the next door cabin to investigate. Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonaga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later, I will reward him into ball and throw him in cold room. Cold room? Ooh, that does not sound good. He's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san. Okay, so... Is he in here? Oh, here he is. Oh my gosh! He got tackled, beat up, destroyed. Oh, you're back. Inspector! What happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. Now he's bleeding out the mouth for different reasons. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe? When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fist and to toss me overboard. What? but the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Yeah, he really went all out on you. I'm so sorry. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh? I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Airlock Sholmes. I don't think he was German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes then? Oh, shall we compare notes then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it. What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door? We're just ousting her, aren't we? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Easy! Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, now I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watching, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. There is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector. Please. What is this new information you have, Inspector? Is this? Oh, the Bureau's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report. Oh, what does it say? Kazuma-sama. So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. Cervical vertebrae? His neck was broken? It has to be the guy outside then. Oh, that's stereotypical to strong men, isn't it? Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. Yeah, that's what I considered at first. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Hands? I don't know. Nothing has been found as of yet. But the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object. Something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. While the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain, strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. Ah, this sounds so violent. It's a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left. Poor Kazuma. Oh, he had a horrible death. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. Yeah, that's more than you could say, Susato. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? Ah. Susato's been doubtful of us for the longest time. She's still doubtful of us. That's why she's like sitting there thinking about things. The postmortem report has been entered into the court record. A report, like, why would we kill our best friend? Come on, think about it, Susato. Why would I kill my best friend? The person that wanted me to come along with him. We're obviously close enough that he even wanted me to come with him. You really think that I would have killed him? And then on top of that, you know I could not have possibly snuck myself into the wardrobe and put a piece of paper, a sticker, on the door. If anything, you should know better than doggone Hosonaga. He doesn't even have that much information. And yet he still trusts me more than you do. A report from the SS Bureau's medical officer giving the cause of death as a cervical spine injury. There were no traces of external injury or poison. I have no idea how this guy died then. The great detective. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? She trusts this guy more than she trusts anyone else. And we already know half his stuff is lies. Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much. Well, not necessarily lies, just misguided. It's definitely very misguided. Too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? actually, now you mention it. That's a different look, I think. Yes, just one thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish, was all he said. Oh, that stain on the floor there. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. That brown stain on the floor. It was when he was over there, by the piece of broken glass. Do you see?
Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think?
Ah, yes, that must be it. This guy, is he really an inspector? I promise you, he's probably the least inspector guy on the ship. But how could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? Did he lick it? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea.
What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue.
Dark tan? Sort of dark brownish red then.
Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him.
Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scruffed on the floor? I'm so lost as to what happened in this room. A piece of a small glass object and what looks like a scruff mark made by Kazuma's shoes were found by the victim's body. The mark on the floor has been entered into the court record. Because there's still a lot that we don't fully understand here. Like, what's that pink piece on the floor that of broken glass? How would his shoe make such a big mark? Like, that's a wide space for a shoe print. That's really all I could tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewman's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you.
Poor Inspector. You look exhausted.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, he did get pummeled. I felt terrible that I failed to protect Asogi-san. He was my responsibility. Jeez. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. Oh yeah. Huh. What is going on aboard this ship? I guess right now we'll examine the mark on the floor one last time.
It really is such a beautiful color, this glass.
It looks like whatever it was has broken clean in two, but the other half is nowhere to be seen.
And then there's the brick-colored mark,
which is shoe polish, according to that great detective you seem to know all about.
I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes.
Maybe, but what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure that it's shoe polish and not something else? He had to lick it.
Because he's a great detective, of course.
That's hardly a reason, is it? There are some things in here that we can like re-examine. So I guess I'm going to re-examine some things. So this ventilator joins to Miss Pavlova's cabin.
Yes, that's right.
And just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. I don't know what he could have possibly seen.
If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are.
Yes, I wonder if she's telling us everything though.
I'm not sure.
I know most people aboard would say the same about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. Okay. Can't re-examine the desk too. What about over here though? Yep, that's still check marked. So yeah, there's some things that's still check marked and other things that's not. So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilled on the floor, and they spelled the Russian word for wardrobe.
It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there.
But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelled out my name, don't you think?
Well, either way,
she's just so doubtful. Cause he's just bringing up even more proof for it could have been Asogi. Asogi would have definitely just spelled my name. He doesn't know enough Russian for that. He probably doesn't even know Russian at all.
Well, either way, my fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words or word in Russian.
Which begs the question of who did write it. It had to be a Russian. Like, it literally had to be a Russian. And half the ship, if not majority of the ship, are Russian. Oh, okay, so it's something different here. 9th January, SS Bureau, first class cabin, passageway.
Ah! Look, Naruhodo-san. Seaman Stroganov has gone.
Strong enough.
The burly Russian sailors who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us.
All these Russian names are impossible to remember. Tra-la-la. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay. I did it the great detective way. Okay, so this is definitely him.
This Caroline, I know that lark-like voice.
Oh, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us.
Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate.
Definitely. Before that Shringy Knot crewman comes back.
It's Stroganov, not Shringy Knot.
Wait, he's over here looking at the book.
Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes. Look.
Wow, you never know where he's going to turn him next, do you? Well, we did hear him singing.
He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself.
He has a pistol. I didn't even notice that. Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay. I did it the great detective way. He's still singing.
Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits?
Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, its lucky airlock was about. Excuse me. I solved it all and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way.
Mr. Sholmes!
Ah! What is it? What the fuck? This is my favorite pose. Oh my gosh. This is so good. What is it? You want to fight? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing. I was just about to reach the climactic finish. This is great. This is literally my favorite one. Wow, maybe he knows how to fight too. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is as good a time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. And I believe it. I believe it. Alright, I get the picture. Now could you put those fists away? I love it. Don't put the fist away. Keep it up. That is awesome.
Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you.
Yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log, as penned by the stockily built crewman, who's usually on guard here.
Oh, yes, the ship's log.
And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, at the 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report. Nothing to note happened, so... You truly are students from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh, he's saying that the fact that there is no entries is suspicious. Observe the other pages, and all should become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stands sentry in this first-class passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes. Hey. Nothing to report. So even if nothing happens, there is proof of it. Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report.
Do you mean?
Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night which led to the seaman being absent from his post.
What kind of circumstances? What happened?
That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. Wow, these are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. The ship's log has been entered into the court record, a record kept by the crew assigned to the first class cabin area. There are virtually no entries from 2 a.m. until early this morning. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. I can admit that myself. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes brilliant. No, not brilliant. Oh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Everyone! Nothing more. Everyone has a headache. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. That headache is gonna mean something. He's still thinking to himself. Hosonaga had one. Sholmes has one. I had one. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought.
It's just, well, I feel the same.
So this whole time you've been hiding the fact that you had a headache too. Sorry.
Ever since I woke up this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing.
Oh, you too. Okay, then. I guess we can go into the cabin while we can, so. Oh, I gotta do it from the outside. I mean, from inside the move section. Miss Pavlova's cabin.
This could be our chance.
What?
The burly sailor doesn't appear to be around at the moment. We could investigate every last inch of that cabin.
I'm not sure if we could go that far, but we could certainly do with looking around more. I'm sure we could learn something. Alright, cool. So with that said, we're gonna move it.
I like to move it
To Miss Pavlova's cabin. 9th January, SS Bureau. First class cabin number 2. Okay, let's see here. There's clothes in there. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. There was no clothes in that cabin at one point. I'm pretty sure. Susato-san. Oh, where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things.
There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can.
I suppose you're right. For Kazuma's sake, anyway. This is nice animation.
Not just for Kazuma-sama.
What do you mean?
It can't be long now until we arrive at the port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there.
What? Really?
We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san. By ourselves if we have to.
Yes, we will. Well, finally. Okay, we get to examine stuff. I want to look at these clothes first.
Naruhodo-san, are you there?
Sorry? I'm right here, yes. Why?
Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home.
Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know.
Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes.
I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. Yeah, it's missing.
Oh my! Miss Pavlova's case is open.
It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there.
Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret.
Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Bureau. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? Yeah, more to that point. So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door.
Yes, Although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room.
Ah, maybe. It's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm.
Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning.
That is a possibility. Anyway, last night, Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. That is the biggest mystery of life. It's gonna bother me. I gotta figure it out. I gotta solve it now. Okay, can't look at that.
It would seem this teapot is empty.
So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are very thirsty people.
Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had a chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either.
It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I lay 1,000 to 1 on it.
You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san?
There are just a few books on the desk. Nothing else by the looks of it.
Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all.
That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read.
Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading. Books written in Russian.
Thanks. I think I probably already knew that, though.
It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that.
Now that I look at it, her books are knocked over, too. In the same fashion. Other books have toppled over together. Look, every single one.
Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though.
It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin.
Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose. It fell against the bookcase.
It fell the same way. All the books have fallen over the same way. I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? She said she was done with ballet.
Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage.
Not everything bad that happens on this ship is because of me, you know.
Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again, in here too. I don't like seeing things in disarray.
Alright. Looks about the same. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Ah,
what's that?
Oh. What's going on? Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter mile full. Full stop. Halt to starboard. All hands brace for impact. I'm guessing the captain has to be Russian too. What the?
I think we are about to crash into another ship.
What?
I can't stand.
Susato-san, hold on to me. Wah! Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all?
I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san.
It looks like we avoided a collision.
I think.
Yes, the ship has come to a stop.
Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Totally fine. Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like
Inspector Hosonaga.
Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door, quickly. Oh, the door bolted itself. And the books fell back over. So the ship tilted itself. This seems mighty dangerous. Like, how did... Basically, you can lock yourself out of the ship if the ship is moving and you're not in your room when this happens. How will you get back into this if they have, like, no key? You know? That seems like all your stuff could get locked in here when you go for breakfast or something.
Look at that.
The door's bolted. Did you do that, Susato-san?
No.
I looked at the door earlier. It wasn't locked when we came in here.
No, I didn't touch it.
But that's strange. How did... And look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. And the everything is knocked over.
Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in?
Sure. but I'm taking in the whole look of the room. I better tidy this place up first. Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery at least, in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Well, what's going to happen next? To be continued. I actually feel like this is a good place to stop. So stop I shall. Save my current progress? Possibly. Well, we did solve one mystery. The ship obviously tilted last night, which is why all the books fell over in the first place. Is that also why the room looked to be in such disarray? It still doesn't explain the pink bell. It doesn't explain the shoe polish. It doesn't explain why, well, maybe Asogi wrote wardrobe. Well, no, I don't believe Asogi wrote that. It's in Russian. Because I was going to say, if Asogi wanted to make sure that I could get out of the wardrobe at some point, perhaps he would like notify people before dying. Like maybe he had an opportunity to do that. He wanted to, you know, at least let me be discovered and once he passed away. But I really don't believe that to be the case either. There's still a lot of mysteries to this case. Not really sure where it's leading. But in the meantime, while I put on my deduction cap for the next time, I'm going to be, you know, mulling this over and thinking about like where the heck is this case going. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I hope you all have a great and wonderful day. Until next time, my friends, bye.